There are places on Earth where time has stopped, where the past lingers like a ghost and the world has simply moved on. Entire cities left to decay, islands with dark secrets, and towns swallowed by nature itself. Some of these places are eerie, others are tragic, but all of them tell a story, one that will leave you questioning what happens when civilization vanishes. From a nuclear disaster zone frozen in time to a haunted island so terrifying that even the bravest explorers refuse to step foot there, today we're diving into 15 of the most incredible abandoned places on Earth. And trust me, you won't believe the secrets hidden in some of these ruins. But one place on this list is so unsettling that even experienced urban explorers refuse to go inside. Stick around to find out which one. Welcome to Earth and Beyond. One, Pripyat, Ukraine, the city frozen in time. At first glance, Pripyat looks like any other Soviet-era city, towering apartment blocks, schools, a hospital, and even an amusement park. But take a closer look, and you'll realize something chilling. This city has been completely abandoned for nearly 40 years. No voices, no movement, just decaying ruins and an eerie silence that hangs in the air like a ghost. Pripyat was built in 1970 as a model city for workers of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, a place filled with promise and modern comforts. At its peak, nearly 50,000 people lived here, unaware that their lives would change forever on April 26, 1986. That morning, reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl plant exploded, releasing a cloud of deadly radiation into the sky. Yet for 36 hours, the people of Pripyat were told nothing. Kids played outside. Families went about their routines. Then suddenly, the evacuation order came. Leave everything behind. You have 2 hours. They never returned. Today, Pripyat stands as a chilling time capsule. School books remain open on desks, gas masks litter the ground, rusting Ferris wheel seats sway in the wind. The city is slowly being swallowed by nature, with trees growing through buildings and wild animals reclaiming the streets. Radiation levels still make some areas lethal, and venturing too deep without protection is a death sentence. Yet, some dare to visit, drawn by the haunting beauty of a place where time stopped forever. 2. Hashima Island, Japan, the ghost city on the sea. Rising from the ocean like a fortress of concrete and steel, Hashima Island, also known as Battleship Island, was once one of the most densely populated places on Earth. Now it's a crumbling ghost town, abandoned to the elements. In the early 1900s, Hashima was a booming coal mining hub owned by Mitsubishi. At its peak, more than 5,000 people lived in this tiny man-made island, packed into massive grey apartment blocks. It was a city of the future, complete with schools, movie theaters, restaurants, and even rooftop gardens, all floating in the middle of the sea. But beneath its success, Hashima hid a dark secret. During World War II, forced laborers from Korea and China were subjected to brutal conditions in the island's mines. Many never made it out alive. By the 1970s, Japan had shifted to oil, and coal became obsolete. Almost overnight, Hashima was abandoned. Families fled, leaving behind personal belongings, furniture, even bicycles. Buildings collapsed, windows shattered, and the sea began reclaiming its stolen land. For decades, the island was completely off limits. Only in recent years has Hashima been opened for guided tours, though large parts remain too dangerous to enter. In 2012, its eerie, apocalyptic landscape caught the attention of Hollywood, becoming the villain's lair in James Bond's Skyfall. But despite its fame, Hashima remains a place where nature and decay rule, a haunting reminder of how quickly progress can be forgotten. 3. Sanxi, Taiwan, the cursed futuristic pods. Imagine a futuristic resort filled with UFO-shaped houses, perched along a pristine coastline. That was the dream behind Sanji, Taiwan's ambitious luxury retreat, designed in the late 1970s. But instead of becoming a paradise, it turned into one of the most infamous abandoned places in Asia. From the moment construction began, things started going wrong. Workers reported strange accidents, unexplained machinery failures, and even fatal falls from the pod-like structures. Rumors spread that the land was cursed. Some said it was built on the remains of a Dutch graveyard, while others whispered that the spirits of fallen soldiers from past wars haunted the site. The most chilling claim? That a series of mysterious deaths caused the developers to panic and shut everything down before a single guest ever arrived. For decades, the eerie, half-finished pods sat empty, slowly deteriorating under the harsh coastal winds. Their rounded shapes and eerie symmetry only added to the unsettling atmosphere, drawing urban explorers and ghost hunters eager to unlock their secrets. Some visitors swore they heard whispers in the wind or saw shadowy figures lurking among the ruins. By 2010, local authorities had had enough. The pods were demolished, erasing the physical structures, but not the legend. To this day, the land remains untouched, and many believe that whatever haunted Sanji is still waiting, unseen, but never gone. Wait, before we continue, I need to ask you something. If you've made it this far, you clearly love mind-blowing mysteries. So why not join the adventure? Hit that subscribe button right now because trust me, the next secrets we're about to uncover will shock you even more. 4. Craco, Italy, the medieval ghost town. Perched on a rocky hilltop in southern Italy, Craco looks like a castle out of a medieval fairy tale. But step inside and you'll find nothing but empty streets, crumbling homes, and a silence so deep it feels unnatural. This isn't just a ghost town, it's a place abandoned by time itself. Founded around 540 AD, Craco survived for centuries, enduring wars, plagues, and the rise and fall of empires. Its strategic location made it nearly impossible to invade, and for generations, families lived peacefully within its ancient stone walls. But nature had other plans. Landslides, floods, and earthquakes repeatedly struck the town, making life there more dangerous with each passing year. By 1963, after one final devastating landslide, authorities ordered the evacuation. The people of Craco left forever, relocating to safer ground. What remains today is both haunting and breathtaking. The town's medieval towers still stand, its abandoned churches and homes giving the illusion that Craco is simply waiting for its people to return. The atmosphere is so surreal that Hollywood took notice, using Craco as a filming location for The Passion of the Christ and several other films. Visitors often report feeling an uncanny presence, as if the town itself is watching them. Some even claim to hear whispers in the wind, a reminder that Craco may be empty, but it is far from forgotten. 5. Kolmanskop, Namibia. The town swallowed by the desert. Imagine stepping into a house where the doors open into nothing but sand, where grand mansions are being slowly devoured by the desert, and where echoes of a once thriving town remain buried beneath golden dunes. Welcome to Kolmanskop, a place that went from unimaginable wealth to eerie abandonment, leaving behind a ghost town swallowed by time. In the early 1900s, Kolmanskop was born in an instant. A railway worker stumbled upon a diamond sparkling in the sand, and within months, the German government transformed the barren landscape into one of the richest settlements in Africa. The town had everything: lavish homes, a casino, a ballroom, a hospital, even an ice factory in the middle of the desert. Miners and their families lived in luxury, with champagne flowing like water and servants sweeping diamonds off the streets. But it wasn't built to last. By the 1950s, larger diamond reserves were discovered elsewhere, and Kolmanskop's wealth vanished overnight. One by one, residents abandoned their homes, leaving behind furniture, dishes, and personal belongings. The desert moved in. Today, entire houses are filled waist-deep with sand, their walls bending under the weight of time. The town is now a hauntingly beautiful tourist attraction, with its sunlit ruins drawing photographers from around the world. But no matter how many footsteps cross its sand-filled streets, Kolmanskop remains frozen in its final moments. A ghost town that reminds us that nothing stays rich forever. 6. North Brother Island, USA, the Forbidden Sanatorium. Just off the coast of New York City lies North Brother Island, a place so eerie and forgotten that most New Yorkers don't even know it exists. Overgrown, abandoned, and strictly off-limits, this island was once home to one of the most infamous quarantine hospitals in American history, and its past is darker than you can imagine. In the 1880s, North Brother Island became a quarantine zone for patients suffering from highly contagious diseases like smallpox, tuberculosis, and yellow fever. The most infamous resident? Mary Mallon, better known as Typhoid Mary, the first person in the US identified as an asymptomatic carrier of typhoid. She was forcibly confined here for over 20 years, until her death in 1938. Some say her spirit still lingers, trapped in the decaying ruins of the hospital that became her prison. As medical advancements made quarantine hospitals obsolete, North Brother Island took on another role, a rehabilitation center for drug addicts in the 1950s, but corruption and abuse ran rampant, and by 1963, the facility was shut down. The island was left to rot. Today, the remains of the hospital, crumbling patient rooms and empty hallways sit abandoned, tangled in vines and hidden beneath thick forest. The public is strictly prohibited from visiting, and those who have set foot on the island claim they've heard whispers, distant screams, and doors slamming shut on their own. Whether it's history or something supernatural, one thing is certain. North Brother Island is a place New York has tried to forget. 7. Isla de las Muñecas, Mexico, the island of dolls. Deep in the canals of Xochimilco, Mexico, there's an island like no other, a place where hundreds of decaying dolls hang from trees, fences, and wooden posts, their empty eyes staring lifelessly into the jungle. Some call it a tourist attraction, others call it one of the creepiest places on Earth. The legend begins with Don Julian Santana, a hermit who lived alone on the island in the 1950s. One day, he discovered the body of a drowned girl floating near his home. Soon after, he found a doll drifting in the water, and believing it belonged to the girl, he hung it in a tree as a sign of respect. But one doll wasn't enough. He became convinced that the girl's spirit was haunting him, whispering in the night, moving things when he wasn't looking. In an attempt to appease her ghost, he spent the next 50 years collecting and hanging more dolls, thousands of them. Over time, the island became a nightmarish sight. Headless dolls, eyeless dolls, dolls with missing limbs, all slowly rotting in the humidity. Locals say that at night, the dolls come to life, moving their heads, blinking, even whispering to those who dare to visit. Ironically, Don Julian was found dead in the same spot where he claimed to have discovered the girl's body. Some believe the spirits finally took him. Today, the island remains untouched, a chilling shrine to something unseen, something waiting. 8. Hotel del Salto, Colombia, the Hotel of Suicides. High above Tequendama Falls in Colombia, perched on the edge of a towering cliff, stands the Hotel del Salto, a once luxurious retreat that has now become one of the most haunted places in South America. What was meant to be a paradise for the wealthy turned into something far more sinister, earning it the grim nickname, the Hotel of Suicides. Built in 1923, The hotel was a lavish escape for Bogotá's elite, offering breathtaking views of the Tequendama waterfall, one of Colombia's most stunning natural wonders. But behind its beauty lurked a dark history. As economic hardship and war swept through the country, rumors began to spread that guests were checking in, but never checking out. Over the years, the hotel became a magnet for the desperate, as many chose its cliffs as their final resting place. Locals claim the spirits of those who perished never left, and eerie sightings became common. Visitors have reported ghostly figures in the windows, disembodied voices, and unexplained cold spots. Some say they've heard screams echoing through the abandoned halls, screams that no living soul should hear. After being left to decay for decades, the hotel was eventually transformed into a museum. But even now, few dare to stay too long. Some believe the souls of the fallen are still there, trapped between this world and the next, forever lingering over the falls. 9. Mirny Diamond Mine, Russia. The massive hole in the earth. At first glance, the Mirny Diamond Mine looks like an enormous crater from an asteroid impact, but this was no act of nature. This is one of the largest man-made holes on the planet, a Soviet-era mega-project that now stands as a colossal reminder of both human ambition and abandonment. Located in the frozen wilderness of Siberia, the mine was built in the 1950s under orders from Joseph Stalin, who demanded a domestic diamond supply to compete with the West. What followed was an engineering nightmare. The brutal Arctic conditions made mining nearly impossible. Vehicles froze, machinery broke, and explosive charges barely worked in the permafrost. But the Soviets refused to give up. Using sheer manpower and determination, they managed to carve a 1,722-foot deep, 525-millimeter pit into the earth, producing millions of carats of diamonds over the next few decades. But as the mine aged, the cost of keeping it operational skyrocketed. In 2004, after over 50 years of digging, it was finally shut down. Now, the abandoned mine sits like an open wound in the earth, its massive void visible even from space. Perhaps the eeriest detail? It's said that helicopters flying over the pit have mysteriously crashed, pulled down by powerful air currents that spiral into the abyss. Whether fact or fiction, one thing is certain: this gaping hole is as haunting as it is massive. 10. Oradour-sur-Glane, France, a witty time capsule. Some ghost towns are abandoned due to war, but few are frozen in time as a permanent scar of human cruelty. Oradour-sur-Glane, a peaceful French village, met its fate on June 10, 1944, when Nazi SS troops stormed in and turned it into a scene of pure horror. Without warning, 642 innocent men, women and children were rounded up by the Das Reich division under the pretense of an identity check. The men were forced into barns and gunned down in cold blood. The women and children were locked inside the village church, which was set on fire. Anyone who tried to escape was shot on sight. By the time the massacre ended, Oradour had ceased to exist. After the war, instead of rebuilding, the French government left Oradour exactly as it was, a time capsule of tragedy. Today, rusted cars sit where they were abandoned. Burned-out buildings, bullet-riddled walls and charred sewing machines remain untouched, a silent memorial to those who never left. Visitors say there's an unsettling stillness in the air, as if the village itself remembers what happened. Some claim to have heard whispers on the wind, the distant cries of those lost that day. Oradour-sur-Glane stands as one of the most haunting war memorials in the world, a place where history refuses to be forgotten, no matter how many years pass. 11. Poveglia Island, Italy, the island of no return. There are haunted places, and then there's Poveglia Island, a place so terrifying that even the Italian government refuses to let people in. Located in the Venetian lagoon, This island has seen so much death and suffering that some believe it is cursed beyond redemption. Poveglia's dark history begins in the 18th century when it became a quarantine station for victims of the Black Plague. Tens of thousands of infected people were shipped here to die, their bodies thrown into mass graves or burned in enormous plague pits. It's said that the soil itself is mixed with human ash. But the horror didn't stop there. In 1922, a mental asylum was built on the island, and rumors spread that a sadistic doctor performed cruel and inhumane experiments on his patients. Some say he heard whispers of the dead, driving him mad until he threw himself off the asylum's bell tower. To this day, locals claim the bell still rings at night, even though it was removed decades ago. Fishermen avoid the waters around Poveglia, afraid of pulling up human bones in their nets. The Italian government has repeatedly tried to sell or lease the island, but every attempt has failed because no one dares to stay. Poveglia isn't just abandoned. It's a place lost to darkness, where the past refuses to rest. Some say it's the most haunted island in the world. Would you dare to step foot there? 12. Belitz-Heilstätten, Germany, Hitler's hospital. Deep in the forests of Germany, hidden among the trees, lies Belitz-Heilstätten, a massive abandoned hospital complex that has treated soldiers, dictators, and the dying for over a century. But today, it stands in ruin, its decaying halls echoing with a dark past. Originally built in 1898 as a tuberculosis sanatorium, Belitz-Heilstätten became a military hospital during World War I. Among its many wounded patients was a young Adolf Hitler, who was treated here in 1916 after being injured in battle. Some believe that his time here shaped his fate, as he spent months recovering and reflecting on the war. During World War II, the hospital was taken over by the Nazis, and later, after the war ended, it fell into Soviet hands, becoming a secretive Russian military hospital. Disturbing rumors surfaced, experiments, ghostly sightings, and unexplained disappearances. The Soviets eventually left in the 1990s, abandoning the facility to time. Today, the once grand operating rooms and patient wards are crumbling, overgrown with ivy and covered in graffiti. Rusting surgical tools have been found inside, as if doctors simply walked away mid-operation. Urban explorers report hearing whispers, phantom footsteps, and doors slamming on their own. Some say the spirits of past patients still linger, unable to leave the place where they suffered. Others claim that the ghosts of soldiers and doctors roam the halls, trapped between history and the present. Belitz-Heilstätten isn't just abandoned, it's a place where history refuses to die. 13. Xicheng, China, the underwater city. Deep beneath the waters of Qiandao Lake in China lies a place frozen in time, an ancient city so well preserved that it looks like it was abandoned yesterday. This is Xicheng, also known as China's Atlantis, a 300-year-old city that was intentionally flooded and lost to history, until divers rediscovered its breathtaking ruins. Xicheng was founded during the Tang Dynasty, 621 AD, and thrived for over 1,000 years. The city was filled with intricate stone carvings, grand archways, and towering gates, a masterpiece of ancient Chinese architecture. But in 1959, during Mao Zedong's push for industrial progress, the government built the Xinan Dam to generate hydroelectric power. This meant creating a massive artificial lake, and Xicheng was sacrificed, its streets, temples, and homes swallowed by the rising water. For decades, no one knew what had become of the city. Then, in the early 2000s, divers exploring Qiandao Lake made a shocking discovery. Xicheng was still intact. Unlike ruins on land, the cold, oxygen-poor water had preserved the city's structures perfectly. Ornate carvings, stone staircases, and even wooden beams remained untouched, as if waiting for its people to return. Today, only a handful of divers have seen Xicheng with their own eyes, adding to its mystique. Hidden in the depths, it remains a ghost city beneath the waves, a lost world patiently waiting to be explored once more. 14. Bodie, USA, the haunted gold rush town. Tucked away in the remote mountains of California, Bodie is a ghost town in every sense of the word, abandoned, frozen in time, and said to be cursed. What was once a booming gold rush settlement is now an empty shell, its homes and saloons left exactly as they were the day its people walked away. In 1859, miners struck gold in Bodie, and within years it became a lawless town of 10,000 people, filled with saloons, brothels, and gunfights. Murders were so common that people joked about seeing someone in the morning and burying them by night, but as the gold ran out, so did the people. By 1942, Bodie was completely deserted, left to decay in the harsh, unforgiving landscape. Today, Bodie is one of the best preserved ghost towns in America, with its old buildings, dust-covered furniture, and rusting cars still standing. But visitors beware. Locals believe in the Bodie curse. Legend has it that anyone who steals even the smallest object from Bodie will suffer extreme bad luck. Park rangers regularly receive letters from people begging to return stolen artifacts, claiming they've been plagued by accidents, illness, and financial ruin ever since taking a piece of the town. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, Bodie has an eerie presence, as if the town is watching you, waiting for its next unlucky visitor to take something they shouldn't. 15. Hutuan, China, the village engulfed by nature. There are ghost towns that crumble into dust, and then there's Hutuan, a place where nature has completely taken over, turning an abandoned fishing village into something straight out of a post-apocalyptic fairy tale. Located on Shengshan Island, off the coast of China, Hutuan was once a thriving village with over 2,000 residents. Fishermen built their homes along the rugged hillsides, and for decades, the village flourished. But by the 1990s, modernization and better job opportunities on the mainland lured people away. With no roads, no hospitals, and limited access to resources, Hutuan was slowly abandoned, and nature wasted no time reclaiming it. Today, the entire village is covered in a thick blanket of green ivy, with trees and vines creeping through windows, doors, and rooftops. Houses that once echoed with life are now hidden beneath a jungle, their walls disappearing under layers of vegetation. It's as if the village is being erased, not by destruction, but by nature's quiet persistence. Despite its eerie, dreamlike appearance, Hutuan has become a popular attraction for photographers and adventurers who hike through the overgrown ruins to witness this rare phenomenon. Some say it's a glimpse into the future of abandoned cities, a reminder that no matter how much humans build, nature always takes back what's hers. Hutuan isn't just an abandoned place. It's a living, breathing ghost town, proof that when humans disappear, the earth moves on without us. If you had to spend one night alone in one of these abandoned places, which one would you choose and why? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching Earth and Beyond.